Kamu buka deh. What do you want to do?
Hello. Hello everyone, welcome to our first gardening session of microgreens. Welcome all. Hope everybody is able to hear me and see me. Yes, you can show the thumbs up. So I welcome you all for today's microgreen session. And happy Independence Day to all. On the occasion of the Independence Day today, a series of workshops has been planned since morning at our Govardhan Eco Village, and this being the part of the afternoon session. So now we begin our microgreens session. So what are microgreens and how is it beneficial to us and everything we'll learn in this session. As well, I'll give you tips on how to grow it and what are the care and the precautions to be taken, etc. are to be done in it. So in this, this is a part of sustainability series that we have. It is said in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10.16.6 that everybody in this world thinks that the other will take care. So if we take care of ourselves, we will be sustainable ourselves and we will not be so much dependent on anyone else. Hence, to begin with, we have this microgreen session today. Now, gardening, many people think is very difficult, but microgreens is really simple. And the best part is that the result is for us to enjoy within a week or 10 days. So in 10 days, our microgreens get ready and we are ready to consume it and enjoy it. And hence, and especially for children also who don't know, always like when they plant something, they are always like, when shall we have it or when shall the fruits be there? Because a fruit giving flower or a flower giving plant takes a long time, maybe 2-3 months and more time than that. But microgreens are ready in 10 to 15 days. Some microgreens take 25 days to 1 month, but most of them get ready in 15 days. So we begin with a microgreen session. I'll have a PPT presentation for you. Then I'll show you live how to sow the seeds and what are the different process involved in our microgreen session. And thereafter, the notes will be shared to you. We have a WhatsApp group where all of you are added. So after this session today, please you all try it out at home. There is not much difficulty. The seeds are available in your houses only. And the soil if available or the compost available, everything I'll guide you how to do it. And you can post your development or post your proceedings like how it's happening or whatever issue you face, you can be again posting on the group and help you. I'll keep the group open for 15 to 20 days till everybody of you, every one of you, each one of you are ready with your first crop of microgreens. So let's begin. So microgreens. Now the plants, we know there are different stages of harvesting in plants. So first we have the seeds, then we have the sprouts. Many of us, we eat the healthy sprouts. After the sprout stage, we have the microgreens stage. So you can see the picture here, the microgreens are there. Then we have the baby greens, the young plant and the mature plant. So today we are going to talk about the microgreens. Microgreens are not sprouts, neither they are baby greens. After the sprouts grow, the first two true leaves emerge from a seed and it becomes a seedling. After the first two true leaves is done and then the next set of leaves come. This next set of leaves is nothing but the microgreens and this is what we consume. Now in nature, nature has made mothers to take care of the children. So now in plants, how do they take care of the children? So the seeds are there. The seeds are full of the nutrition, which provides the baby plants with all the nutrition. And then they are phytolytes. So when the sprouts comes, and then the microgreens, the phytolytes are there, these chemicals are there, which gives the nutrition to the plant. it is to those who are not new to gardening and those who have been sowing must have observed that the seeds are never sick. The seeds never get any diseases. It's only after the seedlings comes and the seedlings start growing that the plants catch some sickness. Maybe the moles or the foals or the microbes we have, and the seedling may be sick and the leaves start turning yellow or something or the else. But in the microgreen stage, the maximum nutrients are there with the plants. So if we consume microgreens at this stage, it gives us lots of health. So as I told you, microgreens are young vegetables between the sprout and the baby leaves. They are small seedlings around 1 inch tall, 14 days old, having true leaves and 4 another leaves, baby leaves. Now, eating microgreens started long back in the 1980s in a restaurant in San Francisco, California, and is a big rage. Now you have the soups and you have the salads and you have the hummus and everything done with microgreens. It has lots of vitamins, as I was telling you. They are superfood. It has a rainbow, and it comes in different colors, so it provides a rainbow diet to us. And the best part, it is quickest harvestable plants that we can have. It doesn't require a lot of sunlight. Even the bright light in the house is sufficient to it. In small city apartments, we can have small containers in our balcony or the window if you don't have a balcony in city apartments. And of course, it also provides a relaxation to us, and it was very engaging. And to have a regular supply of microgreens every week, we have to harvest them and sow them. So these are some of the data that I have collected, which have shown in the USDA National Nutrition Database, which tells us that microgreens have vitamins and antioxidants in it, which is 40 times more than the mature leaves. So it is very healthy to it. So it provides us not only vitamin C, E, K, etc., but the phytochemicals are the nature's magic pill, you can say, which provides nutrition to the plants to grow. But thereafter, after the microgreen stage, the plant starts taking nutrition from the soil. So this is where the soil comes into picture. Till the microgreen part, soil doesn't play a very important role. So hence, we only a little bit of moisture. So like humus or a compost mixed with coco peat can be used for growing microgreens. Soil as such is not required. And of course, because of the high level of phytochemicals and nutrition in the microgreens is boost our immunity and provides us resistance to diseases. Now, what are the different types of microgreens? Now, all plants cannot be eaten as microgreens. There are certain plants which are very beneficial, other may be toxic. So you have to be very sure. You can't grow any seeds and okay, the baby leaves are there and the true leaves have gone out, so we can consume them as microgreens. No, that is not the case. So this is a list. The list will also come in the notes, so no need of noting it down. You can just go through it. The most famous, you can say, nowadays is the sunflower microgreens in restaurants and all. We have it. Apart from that, the amaranth. Then you have the watercress also, which is very healthy, also known as garden cress or halim or alif. Then broccoli. Now we have also to be careful of the season. Now broccoli microgreens, which we can grow, but that cannot happen now in the summer and the monsoon season in India. It is after Diwali. If you broccoli microgreens, that will be the best. Otherwise, many times you'll find that the seeds are sown and it doesn't sprout, or the leaves doesn't come even after the sprouts are there. That is because the season may not be there. Like a sesame seed. Sesame seeds if sown in the month of January, it's very nice. And broccoli after Diwali, November is the best time. Many cereals that we see like chickpeas and lentils like moong, masoor, then matki or the mott, that we use for daily and the sprouts, that can be done throughout the year. Carrot again can be best if done in winter. Now carrot, many times what happens, we cut the top part of the carrot, put it in water and the leaves come. Now these leaves, mind you, are not microgreens, okay? But these leaves can grow and then this can flowers and this will give you seeds. That seeds can be used for sowing as carrot microgreens. Microgreens are always from seeds. We cannot use many times wheatgrass. Now wheatgrass, if we cut it and then it grows again, or the pea shoots. pea we planted, we take the microgreens and we cut the microgreens and again the plant grows. Now this second set of growing is not microgreens. It will not have the nutrition that the original has it. So you have to be careful regarding it. So any doubts and you have, we can do it in the question hour session after the PPT. So we have to be very careful. As I was telling you, all plants are not microgreens. So eggplant, tomato, potato, any variety, pepper, any variety, goji berry are not to be consumed as microgreens because they are poisonous. The leaves of these plants are poisonous. It's only after the plants mature that the nutrition and everything comes, but the leaves are not to be consumed by humans. Now, microgreens, I tell you, now different microgreens take different time period. Now, radish and all these are very easy to grow. Fenugreek is the methi that we have in our kitchen. Then similarly, cress, sesame, we can find in our kitchen. Mustard seeds we have in our kitchen. To begin with today, you all can try with fenugreek or mustard. Sesame may not grow because of the season not being there, but you can try, give it the warmth and anything. It may or may not grow. Cress will grow. So fenugreek, cress is a leaf or halim. Mustard will grow, and these are very simple, not much care required, and within 5-6 days you'll see the first leaves, true baby leaves, and then the microgreens will come, and in 15 days your harvest is ready. You are done with to sow the second thing. Then we have the cilantro, very difficult to grow in Mumbai. Mumbai is not possible to grow cilantro, but I don't know which part of the country and world you all are from. So you all can try cilantro or the coriander, the Indian version. Similarly, coriander also very difficult to grow, but you can. So, but generally it doesn't grow because you will sow and then you will be disheartened that the seed is not coming out properly. Then you have the sunflower, the Thai basil, beet, etc. Number of days required are just mentioned over there. So in 10 days, the microgreens will be ready. 10 to 15 days, like beetroot will be ready in 16 to 25 days. Now, how do we eat microgreens or consume them? We can have it in our sandwiches. We can have it in our wraps. You can see the picture where it's put on the pizza. It's put in the salad. Best part, raw. It is to be eaten raw. And another part is that not only raw, it has to be consumed as soon as it is harvested within 2 to 3 years. So many a times in supermarket, we generally have the alpha microgreens available and in packets in the supermarkets. And they come with the soil and with some moisture in that. So the best part is it is to be eaten raw. So the best thing is that you grow it in the house yourself and then you consume it. Then the wheatgrass is the most popular because it is nowadays very popular as a detoxification drink, wheatgrass juice. So that's also very popular. The down picture on the left hand side is the wheatgrass. And you can just use your imaginations and creativity to include it in your diet, in the soups, in the clear soups. You can top it, use it for garnishing, etc. And it really has a very nice flavor. It gives a crunch, particularly the basil. Now, not the basil, but the another form of basil that we generally have in the house, that is the sabza seed or the takmaria or tukmaria, the Arabic name. So this also gives a very nice flavor. Methi or the fenugreek will have a little bitter taste. Similarly, but the broccoli tastes very nice. Sabza tastes very nice. The chickpeas, the pea shoots are really very tasty. So you can try it all that in your house. And it gives you the nutrition at a very cost-effective way. So now let's begin. So the containers, I have shown you the picture of the containers, is all available in the house. The ice cream boxes we get, the kiwi boxes that we get, the various other boxes that we get, I can show you. Then sometimes we have boxes like this, can be used. Small things can also be used. What we can do with a needle, we can just pierce holes over here. Then some foil is there, so we can cover it. So what happens in this, small quantities will come. So when the small quantity is enough for you for 1 day consumption. So containers like this also, instead of throwing, you can use it once or twice to grow your microgreens and then dispose of. Then you have aluminum foils. Aluminum foils can also be used. So, but whatever container you use, what we have to give, be very sure about to give it a good drainage system. So in the second picture you see with a hot rod and making holes. So holes have to be made. So like something very soft like this, with pins you can make holes. Similarly, in the aluminum foils that we use for packing our food, in that also you can prick with the pin, pin, you can prick it, and it's very easy to make holes. Because microgreens, one of the most important thing that we have to be very, very careful is that water should be optimal. It should not be less, no drying and no overwatering. We never have to water microgreens, we just have to mist it. So I'll show you how to mist it. I'll give live demo of how to mist it. But the soil should never be wet and soil should never be dry. And now the medium, what we use cocoa peat. So cocoa peat is nothing but the compressed coconut husk. Now that cannot be made in the house. We see now this is a cocoa peat. You'll be seeing the mirror image, but it's fine. So blocks like this come in the market for cocoa peat. It's a compressed thing. Coconut husk is taken, the brown color coconut husk, and 6 months it is matured and processed in the factories, and then the blocks like this come. Now this block is of 1 kg. Now this is a 1 kg block. Now when I put this into water, I am to put this into water. So I will put it in 5 liters of water in a bucket. After a few hours, half an hour to 1 hour, all the 5 liters of water will be absorbed by this 1 kg block, and then you'll have 5 kg of cocoa peat, which is used for gardening. Now cocoa peat is generally used to retain moisture in the soil. Now for microgreens, we don't need such a huge quantity. So what we can do, we can 1 inch or 2 inch block we can cut and put it in a mug of water. Then you find that all the water is absorbed and you can feel it. If it is dry, you add more water. But if you think that no more water is getting absorbed and it is moist enough, with your hand you just check, then the right quantity. So we can use cocoa peat and biocompost. Now biocompost is a compost that we make in the house using vegetable and fruit peels and waste. Nothing else is added to it. So we can have another session of biocompost where I can teach you the method of biocompost. But vermicompost is not to be used in the house. It's not required also. And the vermicompost, though not in 15 days, but in gardening also, vermicompost, worms will come in your pots, and it's very difficult to manage in the houses, especially in small houses. So better not use vermicompost. For commercial gardening, yes. For commercial, if you are growing microgreens for a commercial purpose and supplying to a restaurant or a supermarket, you can use vermicompost. That will speed up. But in the house, normal day-to-day use, we don't use. I never use vermicompost. It's always biocompost that I use. So biocompost, when get ready, 1 minute. Okay, when I show you the demo, I'll show you how the biocompost. Then you have the cocoa peat, and Jivanamrit is another biofertilizer made in the house using cow urine and jaggery or gur, mixing that and putting them for 15 days to ferment. That is how we produce Jivanamrit. If anybody has it or has been using it and knows and doing gardening, will be having it, so they can use that. Or cocoa peat and sterilized vermicompost for the commercial use, we can use one. Basically, even if you don't have to buy cocoa. Cocoa peat is of course necessary, but compost is not there. It's fine. You can use soil and cocoa peat. Soil, what will happen now? We need, as I told you, we need to have a good drainage system in the containers that we are potting the microgreens. So cocoa peat gives a good drainage. Otherwise, soil sometimes will have become lumpy on watering. It will not be, aeration will not be proper. Hence, we don't use soil as it is. So soil mixed with cocoa peat is also fine, or soil with biocompost is the best because it will give it all the nutrients to the microgreens. The ratio can be 1:1. The ratio you can also use if the biocompost is not made in the house and bought from the market, then the ratio will be 4:1. The biocompost if made at home, ratio 1:1. Biocompost if purchased from market, then the ratio should be 4:1. It will all come in the notes. Now the container you are using can be reused, and the soil which you are using can also be reused. So, but once your first crop is ready, you have to wash the container very nicely and again reuse this soil. Now this soil will have the roots, because we will be cutting only the stem from the above. So this roots have to be removed and put in the biocompost if you are making in the house, and then again use the soil. The soil can again be used by for the third time, but then you will dispose of the soil, because plants as such, microgreens take all the nutrients from the seeds itself, but soil also plays a little important part. So we'll not use it, because by that time it will be drained off, and it may have some because it will become drained off of all the nutrients, it may have some disease in it, or some worms may come, which will be microscopic, not for us to be seen, and we don't want that to come in our microgreens. So by third time, we will discount the means now you can throw, making biocompost, you put the soil in your compost making. Now seeds. Now in the markets and in the internet, there are many things they are selling as seeds. Now first thing, there's no such thing as microgreen seeds. The seeds are the normal seeds, but the seeds for gardening, what we get, are not to be used for microgreens, because the seeds that we buy from the market to grow crops or to grow plants, for example, sunflower seeds that we buy, or say another vegetable seed that we buy, or spinach seed we buy, is generally treated with poison, very light poison. Now why? Because when we sow it in the pots and we put the pots out in the garden, in the balcony, the birds or the rodents, the rats, etc., comes and eats up the seeds. To prevent that, it is treated with chemicals so that no animals will attack the seed. So these seeds, which are generally treated, so as the plant grow in the soil, it is washed off. So when the plants grow and we get the fruits and flower, it is completely safe to eat. But for microgreens, which we are consuming in 15 to 20 days max, we will not use the seeds, because the poisonous effect or the toxic effect of the seeds may not have gone. And if by mistake we use the seed, what happens? Nothing much, but you'll have a stomach upset. You can have nausea feeling, or vomiting can happen in severe case, but generally nothing. So the best source of seeds is our kitchen. We have mustard seeds, we have methi, fenugreek seeds, we have ajwain, carom seeds, etc. We have fennel soft, we have sesame, till. Everything is generally found in our kitchen. So the best thing, and the pulses, the chana, the chickpeas, the moong, gram, everything, the red chana, kabuli chana, everything we find in our houses. So it is all there in our kitchens. So we can use it directly from our kitchen and grow our microgreens. Now broccoli seeds will not have in our kitchen. Sunflower seeds will not have in our kitchen. So this needs to be bought. So when you buy seeds specially for microgreening purpose, not for growing flowers or not for growing plants. So seeds which are there for growing microgreens and organic, that will be not treated with any chemicals. So now the process is the broadcasting. Now broadcasting is a technical term used in microgreen for sowing of seeds. Now this is the sowing of seeds. After, now see this husk that you see is because of the cocoa peat, and I think you can have a clear view of this. Now seeds, now the amaranth seeds have been planted over here. These are very small seeds. And you see it has been very closely. When we are growing crops, plants in the pot, we put a distance of 1 inch. But over here, we have to put the seeds very close to each other finely, such that we don't see any soil. The black thing that you see is all seeds. One sec. Now, this is the soil. This is the aluminum container that I've done it. So this is the soil, laying of soil. Now the container, whatever container you use, should be 1 inch. Now this is the sowing of seeds, as I was telling you, very close to each other. The soil is moist, not wet, and we can check it with a toothpick how evenly the soils have been, the seeds have been sown. Now this is known as broadcasting. Now after broadcasting, we have blackout. Blackout means, now since this is an aluminum container, it generally comes with a top which we cover it with. So now after putting the seeds, we'll put a very thin layer of soil or compost, whatever soil that we have used. Now soil doesn't mean soil literally, the medium that we have used for growing the microgreen. So we will cover with a light layers, thin layer of that. And after having that thin layer, blackout. Blackout means covering it for a day or two so that no light goes inside. So that is the blackout stage. So for the aluminum container, very convenient, we get a cover to it. So we'll cover it as we cover the food and put it in a dry but warm place. The best place to put it, our container, is in the kitchen. Kitchen is always warm because the cooking is happening there. So we'll put it over there. Then after 24 hours, we will open it. We'll sow the seed, broadcast the seed. After that, blackout, cover it with a dark cover. If the aluminum container is not there, we're using any container. Suppose we are using this, then we can cover it with a, so we can cover it with something, any container that we have. Suppose we have a lid like this, so we cover it with the lid. Okay. Or we can cover it with a foil. We can have this foil cover. So whatever container you have, make sure that it is covered, and the blackout means it's complete black inside. The seed doesn't want sunlight. The plants, when the leaves comes, it wants sunlight. Once it sprouts, it needs sunlight. Before that, it doesn't require sunlight, and hence it has to be blackout. After 24 hours, we'll open it, we'll mist it. I'll show you how to mist it. We will never sprinkle water or pour water on our microgreens. We'll never use mug, we'll never use glass, however tiny it may be. Neither will pour water in a hand and sprinkle it over. What happens? Now you see how evenly we have sown the seeds. So when the seeds are sown so evenly, each and every seed will require a little bit of moisture. So when we sprinkle like this, the drops of water falls in some place and some places are absolutely dry. And what will happen? Some parts the greens will come and some parts the greens will not come. Hence we don't want that to happen as such. So what we do, we mist it. So that for that we have spraying bottles used in gardening. We have sprays like this. So this we can use. We can use sprays like this. I'll just show you how to spray. Now you have different arrangement where you have sprays, and there is this when there's a mist is there. Now if you can view this, I don't know how you'll be able to view it. You see the drops of water coming. So we take our container and put the container in our hand, hold the bottle and spray like this. Not inside. The container will be like this. The container is like this, and we are holding it like this, and we are spraying, so it is going inside. Droplets of water will come in. Okay, I'll show you when I show you the demo. I'll show you once more. So this watering part is very important. Neither too less nor too more. Perfect. Now after 24 hours, you just open it and mist it. Spray water, close it again. Next day, after say after 12 hours, you open it and see if the sprouts are coming. Now different microgreen seeds that you have sown will require different treatment. So when you see the small sprouts coming, that is the time to put it in sunlight. So after 3 days, this amaranth seeds looks like this, which we put it for sunlight. So now it is put in sunlight. Now you see it is put it in sunlight. So it is going towards the sun. And the black spots that you see on top are the husk. Now this is 5 days old. So this is all growing towards the sun. So we have to make sure that evenly. So when you see that it has been put in the sun and after 24 hours, what happened is going all towards the sun. So we have to turn the direction of this. And then comes the harvesting thing. So harvesting is always to be done with sharp scissor. You will not pull it out. You use your scissors and from the edge, pull the leaves from the top, as you can see in the picture, and then you can cut it from your base. The root stays in the soil. This soil you can use once more by removing the roots by your hand, or you can put it in your compost making. Now, so once a revision, broadcasting, the seed sowing part, then we have the blackout covering, the first 1 or 2 days, depending, like a methi will require 24 hours and the sunflower or the broccoli will require 48 hours of blackout. Then you have the sunlight, not much required, minimum 1 to 2 hours, ideal 3 to 4 hours, but not the afternoon hot sun. The sunlight ideal 3 to 4 hours is the morning 9 o'clock sun. So 9 to 12 or 8 to 11 is the ideal time, not the afternoon hot sun. Misting, spraying twice in the morning, once in the morning when you put it for sunlight or when the sunlight, before the sunlight starts coming on it, and every evening after sunset. And harvesting is to be done with sharp scissors just above the soil, and we will not take the roots, so we'll cut it, we'll wash it, and we will consume it immediately. Now, we generally have a habit of soaking seeds before sowing it. Now, soaking can be done in microgreens, but not necessary. The benefit is that it speeds up germination, but many seeds used for microgreens are generally very minute. For example, say mustard seeds, very minute, or say methi or the fenugreek. It becomes, don't get the good feeling. It stuck to it, clumps to each other. So it's not advisable. Sesame seeds, again, when you soak it in water, it's not convenient for you to spread it. Now, certain seeds like flaxseed or sabza or the takmaria, what we have at the basil seeds, they are mucilaginous. So they have a layer. As soon as it comes in contact with water, gel sacks form next to it. So it cannot be soaked in water. But hard seeds that you have, that can be soaked. The seed is basically the peas, the chickpeas, the moong, everything that can be soaked in water to speed up germination. So once again, a revision on sprouting, we have to place the container in the sunlight, which they need not be intense, which should it should not be intense. Bright light of the house is also fine for microgreens. If the bright light is there, your microgreens will be dark green in color. If the light received by the microgreens and the growing stage is less, then the leaves will turn little yellow. Then you have to keep the soil moist all the time, which you can check with a toothpick. You insert the toothpick in the soil. If it comes out fine, the way we do it to check the bakery items like cake, it comes out, we know the cake is done. If something sticks to the stick, we come to know that is still time. Similarly, if the stick comes out dry, it requires the water. If the soil sticks to the soil, it does not require water. Now, harvesting time after the microgreens is ready. So the first 2 leaves will come. This is not microgreens. After the first set of 2 true leaves, another set of 2 leaves comes. You will wait till the 4 leaves comes, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. That is the time to harvest. Now the husks will be there, which you can just remove with your finger. Now sunflower has a very hard husk. So one by one it needs to be removed. You need to have a good set of steel scissors to cut it because you can't go on munching it. Then you will cut it at the base. Now can be harvested as and when required. Okay. Sometimes what happens, the plants grow, 15 days are over, another set of leaf comes, it's okay. Now from the small container, put it in the big container, then you can have the leaves. When the plants mature, you fruit of that plant. Now spinach is there, so baby spinach is there. So if we are not using the microgreens, let it grow. We can use the spinach. Amaranth is there. Let it grow. We can use the amaranth bhaji and enjoy it. So as and when required, you can use it. What is not used after 15-20 days, more leaves are coming because it will not give you the nutrition of microgreens. You can plant it in your pot and use the leaves for consumption after a month or two. Now, microgreens generally needs to be consumed because as soon as you cut it, after half an hour or 1 hour, you will find that it will start limping. So better as soon as you cut it and you put it in your salad or dressing, etc., and it's still time for lunch or dinner to consume it, put it in the refrigerator so that it does not limp. But make sure that you cut it at the last moment. Now, wheatgrass, when you cut, pea shoots, when you cut, what happens? Another set of leaves grow. Now, these are baby plants. These are not microgreens. Fine. That's it. Now, once the harvest is complete, remove the root from the soil and add to the compost or let there, it will mix with soil. You can use the soil and then the second round or the after using the soil for two times thrice, then you can have a leguminous plants. Now, leguminous plants have nodules in their roots. Excuse me. Have nodules in their roots, which absorb nitrogen from the air. Now, one of the most important mineral that plants have, the green color of the leaves, for the green to grow in the plants, for the plant to be leafy and have a dark green color, nitrogen is the important thing. The flowers needs phosphorus, but green color is because of once the plant is in the growing stage, the fertilizers that are put are rich in nitrogen. So this leguminous plant absorb nitrogen from the atmosphere. So if we use this plants, what happens? It will naturally get nitrogen and the soil will be fertilized. Now, before we come to this cares and challenges that, okay, let's finish with that. Then I'll show you the light thing. Challenges, sometimes what happens, the seed don't germinate or don't germinate equally. That's the photo on the top you are seeing. Now that may be because of the bad quality of the seed, but generally for our consumption in the house, we get the best quality things. So that's not the case generally, but sometimes when you order it online or something, it may happen. The season may not be there or the moisture is too little or too much, because of which the seed doesn't germinate equally. Then sometimes the plants grow all of a sudden, very nice crop, and then it flops, it comes down. Now, why is that happening? That may happen because the sunlight was not sufficient and the weak seedlings also flop. And sometimes it grows very well, then also it flops. Then you have to just check the water level, the moisture level. If the moisture is more or the depth of the container is less, then this may happen. Generally, we need a container with a depth of 1 to 2 inch, depending on the types of roots that the plant will be having. And this are all the delicacies, the sandwiches, the hummus, the pita breads with the fillings inside, and the salad, in which you can use it. You can use your creativity and the imaginations to include this microgreens in your daily diet for you and your family to stay healthy. Thank you. So now I'll show you the demo, live demo of how are we going to do it. And whatever queries you may be having, you can just note it down. So after the demo, we can have a question answer session where I'll try to answer all your doubts. This is the container. the soil is there. Now see, in this should not be there. Lumps like this, we should be having the fine soil, right? Now, cocoa peat. See, this is how the cocoa peat will look. After it has absorbed, it will have little husk and everything, but that is fine. And see this, it will have things like this, so that is absolutely fine. So I have the cocoa peat with moisture. It's moist, it's not very moist. Then I have the biocompost made from the vegetable pills and everything in the house. So this we have. Is it okay? Am I audible now? Let's wait for a minute. I'll just check it. So, is it okay now? The video audio is fine now? So we start once more. We can take a container. The container needs to have hole at the bottom. Fine. Now the soil is there. Now when we take any soil or when we take any compost and it has been there for a long time, what happens? We have lumps like this. Soil generally is not required. Only we can use compost and biocompost and cocoa peat. But if you don't have and you want to start with soil, you can start with soil also. But make sure that the soil is mixed with cocoa peat. What happens when in this soil we'll put water, it will form a lump, and hence it is not advisable and drainage will not be good. Now soil should not have lumps of soils like this. It should not have lumps like this. It should be fine soil like this. Then I have this cocoa peat which is already soaked in water. The cocoa peat looks like this. It may have husks like this. Some parts like this, which was very visible in my ready-made thing. Then you have I have the biocompost. Now this is also dry. So I take my biocompost. Now when the compost we make in the house, it's not so fine, but we have to sieve it and remove all the big parts. And then we get fine biocompost like this. So we take compost, equal part, we take the cocoa peat. We mix it. Fine. Now, as I was showing it that we need to spray it. Now, first time when you are doing it, mind you, first time, right? We spray water. With the spray, I'm spraying water and making it completely wet because my compost was completely dry. If the compost is in the making, it will not be so dry. But since this is an old compost that I was using, it was dry. And I mix it. And I check whether it is dry. See, I'm squeezing it, water is not falling down. And this is how the consistency should be. It is sticking a little to my hand, showing that it is wet, but it is not completely dry also. So now, this is the amount of moisture that the soil will be having all through. The toothpick, you'll always have a toothpick to insert and check. So when you check this toothpick, you see the little soil is sticking onto it. So this is the type of moisture that should always be present in it. Now add a little more water because the seed to germinate will require a lot of moisture. Now, after this, I add the seeds. Now the 3 seeds that I'm going to experiment with today with you all are the mustard seeds, the rye, generally found in everyone's house. So in this one container, though this is small, but if you all have big container, in one container you can have multiple microgreens. So what I do, I put rye in one part. See how I have, then with the finger, if you find that is not evenly done with the finger, you just spread it evenly. So it is spread evenly. Then apart from them, I'm having with me a garden cress or a leaf, also known as halim. This is the halim seeds. I hope you're able to view it properly. So next to, you can see mustard seeds. This soil is without any seeds. The first part I put mustard. The second part I'm putting halim. Now I will spray little more water. To moist the seeds. Now I'll cover it with a paper or some container, but I have a cover to this container. So I'll just cover it. So now this is the broadcasting step that I was talking about. So broadcasting step is over. Now on top of it, I put a light layer of coco peat or the mixture of coco peat and compost, very light layer, to cover all the seeds with soil. Just sprinkle soil to cover all the seeds. Now this is done. I cover it with a cover and put it aside for 24 hours. This is the wheatgrass that I have grown. Now you see this is the beginning of it, and these are the matured ones. So this is how the shoots come up, and this is ready for harvesting. So these are the first 2 leaves coming. We will not use this first 2 leaves. We will use this ones. We will not cut this. So when we are cutting, we will hold it with our hand. And cleanly cut it to be used, or for making wheatgrass juice, or for making one sharp cut and cut it, not to disturb the others. Now the rest shoots, these red shoots will be growing. So Okay, so I'm sorry. Hope I'm audible now. So now we can have a question hour session. I'll just unmute all and let's see, one sec. Now in the chat also, I think I have some questions. I'll just check. Okay, Miss Amit has asked a question that minimum 1-2 hours and ideal 3-4 hours of sunlight. So what other time should what should we do? Other time, put it in bright light. Bright light is fine. In which season we should use which seed, please mention. I'll try to mention because there are many varieties. But generally, all the cereals that we have in the house, that grows 12 months. But something like, say, sesame will grow in winter after Jan to June, till June, not in the monsoon. Or the broccoli will grow after only in the basil, they tell in the foreign version, not the Indian basil. Indian basil, sabza will grow fine, but then you have the rocket leaves and all that will grow only in the winter. Winter means after November in Mumbai. So as per your local season, you check out when the temperature is below 25 degree. How often can we use the same coco peat? Coco peat doesn't have any nutrition, so it doesn't get devoid of any nutrition. The soil which is there or the compost that which we have mixed with the coco peat, that is generally losing its nutrition. Then first soil should be put or coco peat. Actually, there is a mixture of soil and coco peat. It's not first soil or the coco peat. Coco peat along with, you can have 1 part of coco peat, 1 part of soil and 1 part of biocompost, or soil can be done away with, no soil is also fine. Everything should be mixed properly. Do we poke holes in the foil container? Yes, you poke holes in the foil container. If any specific seeds you have regarding the season, you can put it in the WhatsApp chat. I'll try to answer that. I think that are the questions that I have. I'll just request my co-host to unmute all of you. Okay, what you said 4:1, and then 4:1, when you're buying compost from the market, biocompost from the market. Now these are commercially made compost. So it has high mineral levels. So in that case, you'll use 4 parts of coco peat and 1 part of compost. How much quantity to put for seeds and soil? Any brand of biocompost is fine, yes. I'm sorry, I'm not able to unmute. I'll just try to unmute all of you. So whoever questions, please one by one unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves and you can ask your questions. How to grow wheatgrass? Just use the regular wheat, like, yes. You have to just use the regular, and I'll send the process of growing wheatgrass specifically in the notes. It's just the wheat that you use. You have to soak it in water for it is a little difficult because wheat is a little hard grain. So you will take time for that. But that's it. The same seeds that we use for making flour in the house is there, but it should not be mixed with anything. Like sometimes when we store wheat for 12 months or so, we put boric powder or we put castor oil in that. That should not be there. It should be only wheat.
Where do you buy these sunflower seeds and broccoli seeds from? Where to buy the sunflower and broccoli seeds?
After 1
Hello?
we put in the house near the window. Yes, ma'am, I was the earlier part. Yes, I'll share the written material with you all. Any specific temperature, humidity factors, not necessary, because we are harvesting it in the time span of 15 to 20 days. Specific temperature, yes.
Oh.
Say, answer your question. Hello, is it fine? Okay, is it fine? Unmute everyone. I'm sorry, everyone. Hope it's fine now. Still breaking. Voice is cracking still.
No, it's okay now.
Fine.
It's just echoing.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, fine. So let's continue regarding the questions on the chat. I'll try to answer first. So I think there's some problem in muting and unmuting. So let's put the question on the chat. I'll reply one by one. Please put your questions again. I have lost it.
You can lecture the NT works tomorrow and maybe. In the guest house, if any emergency.
No, you don't deny. You always treat people not correctly. You don't agree ever.
Yes, you can put it on the chat. Anyone's there? I have lost all the questions that were put earlier, so please put your questions once more. I'm really sorry for it. Okay, we start with Srinidi's question. What are the benefits of consuming microgreens?
Tell me so many times you don't do it right. You do it yourself. I only told you don't make them sit on the floor. It's just a simple thing.
Please unmute whoever is this.
Treating them fairly is a good thing to do.
I think you all are unmuted. So whoever wants to ask questions can ask questions after 1 minute. Regarding the question, can we make cocoa peat out of the coconut husk? No, you cannot make it because it has to be a very powdered and compressed form, which is done only in factories. We cannot do it in the house. So it is a process of 6 months where it is dried and the husk is powdered. It has to be complete powdery form and then compacted and made into blocks, which absorbs moisture. The one that you use make in the house will not be able to absorb moisture. But yes, you can use it by mixing it in the soil, by making and powdering it in your grinder to a as fine powder as possible. But it will not work as a commercial cocoa peat. Is it okay to use containers which is about 5 inches? Perfectly fine, but put soil up to 2 to 3 inches, not more than that. But that is sufficient, not required actually, because we are consuming the plants within 15 days or max 20-25 days. So roots doesn't need more space to go. What are the benefits of consuming microgreens? There are numerous benefits. It provides lots of micronutrients to us, antioxidants to us. Apart from that, as I already mentioned to you all, that when it's like a vitamin pill, when we have deficiency of vitamins like vitamin B, C, or vitamin D, we take capsules. Nowadays, because of this corona scare, we are taking zinc and we are taking many substitutes. This pills gives us supplements as a for vitamins. Vitamins or vitamins are supplemented, but phytochemicals are never supplemented. The phytochemicals which are present in the rainbow diet, which are present only in the microgreens. Why? Because microgreens have phytochemicals which are like which take care of the need of the baby plants. When the seeds grow into seedlings, at that time the nutrients that are required by the plants are given by the chemicals in the seeds when the seeds sprout after that. So that is done only in microgreens. So when we consume this microgreens, we get the phytolytes, which are like mother to the baby plants, which provides them all the nutrition and never let them fall sick. The seeds and the seedling form and of the plants are never sick. It is only when the plants grow that the various sickness gets, and it is attacked by the various pests and microorganisms and everything. We get fungus and everything. Otherwise, no. Okay, so how to make cocoa peat out of coconut husk? You have to buy it from the mass market, not possible in the house. You can dry the husk and make it into a powder, but that will not act as such. You should give us what do the remaining after cutting or harvesting. Let it be in the soil, and the soil can be used for composting. The roots can be removed and the soil can be reused once or twice to grow other microgreens, or else put the whole soil into making composting for your next batch. What is the difference of cocoa manure and cocoa peat? Manure, it has any manure, maybe cow dung or something mixed with cocoa peat. Cocoa peat is only cocoa peat, that is coconut husk roasted in the bed. Will only cocoa peat and cow manure do? Yes, ratio 1:1. In the demo, you showed the second type of seeds used. What first was mustard, the second was aliv, A-L-I-V, or you can also known as halim, or also known as garden crest or watercress. If you buy the seeds not present at home, you can buy it online, you can buy it in the nursery who cater to specially microgreens. For microgreens, it has to be specially for microgreens, not treated with any chemicals or anything. The seeds should be as it is harvested from the plants. You can also contact Golden Eco Village. They also have wide varieties of seeds and small plants. If they have the facility to courier or something, we can work out on it. You showed us what do we do with the remaining then? Just 1 or 2 hours of sunlight. Can we keep it? Yes. If your window or the place where the sunlight comes is for long hours, suppose you are getting not only the morning sun but the afternoon and the evening sun, so it is to be put in the window, not outside where it gets 12 hours of sunlight, right? So 3 to 4 hours, so near the window. But if your window is not receiving morning sunlight, then it's okay if it receives the evening sunlight from say 3 to 5 or 4 to 6. But if your window or your balcony gets afternoon harsh sunlight, don't put it in sunlight, put it near the window, near the shade, so the direct sunlight doesn't fall on it and burn the small seedlings. Okay. Who does every seed have a different number of days? Yes, I showed you in one of the slides. Most of the seeds is the time frame is 7 to 15 days. Some takes a little longer. Like the basil, the cilantro, sunflower, it takes a little longer time. Sunlight time is same for all. Time frame, I told you, is different. Yeah, it's mentioned in the notes that I provide. I'll try to, it's not mentioned, but I'll mention this point also. I'll add this point. How to grow? If you can't get biocompost from the market, not possible, it's okay. Generally take the soil, but see to it that the soil, with the soil, if you do have a coconut husk or cocoa peat, mix that. In that case, you use 2 parts of cocoa peat and 1 part of soil. Much of soil is not required. Only cocoa peat is also fine. If you grow, microgreens can also grow in only cocoa peat, because till the microgreen stage, the plant is not taking nutrition from the soil. It is using its own treasure house of nutrition, which is there in the seeds. Can we use mushroom spent compost with cocoa peat? I'm not able to understand. Mushroom spent means what you compost that you have used for growing mushroom or you have made from mushroom. Please clarify that. Please elaborate on how to make compost or natural fertilizer. We can have another workshop. Generally, in short, I will tell you, you take the vegetable peels or the fruit peels or flowers that you have in the house used once and dry it out in the sun for a day. And then you put a layer. So the down layer, you have to have 2 things in making compost: the greens and the browns. The greens that provides the nitrogen, browns that provides the carbon dioxide. The browns are the green leaves of the plant or the branches which have become brown. Fine, so that is the brown. Greens is the vegetable peels or the green leaves that you use. So you put 1 layer of soil down, and below that you put some stones or you put some pebbles or something, so the whatever moisture comes out from the greens, the vegetable greens, that is absorbed, and it doesn't make it soggy, because if there's too much of moisture, giving out of too much of moisture, fungus will be there in the compost making, and which is not beneficial. It is harmful for making of compost. So you take a layer of soil, then you put a layer of browns, that is dry leaves, dry twigs, all broken into 1-inch pieces. Then you take the vegetable waste of your house. It can be any waste: tomato peels, potato peels, cucumber peels, the cabbage and the cauliflower stems, but all grinded or all in short pieces, small pieces of 1 inch. So 1 layer of soil, 1 layer of brown, and 1 layer of vegetable green. Then you continue with vegetable green. The ratio is 1:1. If you have 1 bowl of vegetable green, have 1 bowl of browns. So again, vegetable green and the brown, green and the brown. Your container is full. Then put some soil in between. If you find, now this also the moisture level has to be maintained. So check it. If there's too much of water inside, then put more browns. If it is dry, then put greens and little soil. Flies and all are coming, insects are coming, then put little soil on the top. Insects won't come. Put it for a month or so. In Mumbai, hot and humid weather, in 1.5 months, the compost is ready. Please elaborate how to natural that's done. The demo you showed was not, it could have been more details. Yeah, but now what we can do, we are there in the WhatsApp group, so I get every day, day 1, day 2, I will post the pictures so you can have a better idea. If you can also, and please join, please sow some seeds, and you can just for the 15 days we can have a journey together, and we can just sort out all your problems, and you can do it as if you're doing it live. You can anytime call me on the WhatsApp, not call, message 24 hours. I'll try to reply all your queries. So please specify microgreens which we get from the kitchen without having to mustard, sesame, wheat, chickpeas, all the cereals. Chana, rajma, not rajma, but chana that you have. Then you can have this basil seeds, takmaria or sabza, garden cress. Generally, there methi is there, mustard is there. You can see is there. Compost received after growing mushrooms. Yes, that can be used once, not much, but once or twice you can use that. Can we have biocompost? Yes, you can do biocompost from the market. You can use that, but the ratio would be more of coco peat. Make the ratio of 4:1. 4 parts coco peat, 1 part biocompost. Learning platform, this is possible. We can have it with the management, Julie. I'm really sorry for it. We can just talk with the management and see with Eco Village how they can sort this matter out. It will be great if we have organic urea from GP. Yes, we can suggest that to them. We can do that. You should meters do we do remaining after cutting or harvesting? You let it be in the soil and throw it up in the compost. Any other questions? Any questions which I have not answered? Please message. I'll try to unmute once more. Please see. Isha, if everybody can be unmuted. What we have pre-fertilized soil, do we need to add coco peat? See, fertilizer is not required. What we require is that the moisture is retained in the soil. We want the moisture to be retained in the soil. That's the point. Fertilizer, any sort, is not required.
Can you just show how to spray?
Yes, sure. This is my thing. Now, I will, when first I showed you when I was sowing seeds, put it like this and spray inside. But now we will hold it like this, hold it at a distance of around 10 inches or 1 feet. Hold it like this. If your container has soil till the top, hold it like this. If it is less, halfway, right? Then we will hold it till the little. Make sure that doesn't fall off. And from a distance, we'll spray. Seeing the milk, this is missing. This as a shower, what comes out is missing. So now if you see this container, see droplets of water are there. Are you able to view it? Yes. So this is what I mean by misting. Water is not going in, but at the same time, the soil is getting moist. To check the moisture level, we have toothpicks in the house every time. We put it in and check. Now you see this soil sticking in, not too much, but little. So this is perfect. If too much soil, now I'll add more water and show what happens if too much water is there. See, how the spray is coming, this is what I mean by misting. Not one sharp spray. It has to go like a shower. Like that arrangement should be there. Now the soil is absolutely moist. Now you see how much soil is sticking. If this much soil is sticking to your toothpick, do not water for a day or two. Let the soil dry. This means there's too much of water in the soil. first consistency, again I'll show from the other side. We see this pick.
What is showering?
One sec. Huh? Now see how this has come out. This is perfect. But if you see the other side, when I sprayed extra water, so much soil sticking. So this is too much water. Yes, please. What's the question about water?
It was mentioned that in the morning you should do showering and 2 times misting.
No, no. Mist showering and mist showering is same thing. This showering and misting is same thing. Showering is only means water planning only when we are sowing it in the broadcasting stage. Thereafter, we don't do it. We always missed it. Showering, what I meant by showering means putting it like this and showering it. See the distance is there, 1 feet something around, and I shower. So you see the whole air, everything around me has droplets of water, and my container also has droplets of water inside. This is on the inside and the outside side. That will be the perfection. I hope I'm clear on the watering plan. I can show once again if you all want.
What is the use of coco peat? I mean, is it a fertilizer or just a volume to the soil? Or well, I joined little late.
Moisture level. It will maintain the moisture level.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It has no nutrition value, no fertilizer. It's not a fertilizer. It's just not to make a clamp. The soil will not clamp, and enough moisture is retained in the soil. It will not.
Okay.
Even if you forget to say shower or mist it in the evening or morning one time, it's fine because the moisture will be retained by the coco peat.
Okay, but then here we get pre-fertilized soil. I mean, all mixed. You know, not like different.
Potting soils sort of.
Yeah, potting soils. So with that also, it's okay to grow greens, right?
Yes,
And micro.
The only point is that we don't need the nutrition, so why waste it? Otherwise, it's
Okay. All right.
because that
Thank
potting
you.
soil will have a mix of manure, fertilizer, it will have coco peat, and it will have soil, all mixed. So the drainage, it won't be, drainage problem will not be there.
Girish, 1 ನಿಮಿಷ
Do we still need to add coco peat to that? It's better? No need.
No need. Coco means the potting soil that we get is perfect because that doesn't clamp or the drainage is perfect, moisture level are perfectly fine. So they have commercially made it all ready made for us, so it's fine to use that. No issue.
All right.
It's easier.
All right. Thank you.
Only coco peat will do?
Yes, only coco peat will also do.
Okay.
If we have a clay soil, so can we use little bit sand instead of coco peat?
Yeah, but the sand, make sure that the sand, when you water, sand clamps, no? Drainage should not be an issue. Water should not stay in the roots. Water at no point should be there staying in the roots of the microgreen. Okay, we can use coco peat and biocare again for 3 times. Twice the same mixture can be used. Thereafter, you discard it. Or you can use after using it for 2 times. For the 3rd time, you put peas or pea shot or gram or chickpea. And then again for 2 times you can use it because they are leguminous plants. They will have nodules in their roots. Now this nodules of these leguminous plants you don't remove. So this leguminous plants nodules of the roots will help absorb the nitrogen from the atmosphere and will fertilize the soil. Anything else?
So you mean after using this soil for the microgreens, the same soil can be used for leguminous plants to grow greens? Yes. Okay. Do we still need to remove the roots, the husk and the roots?
Not of leguminous plants roots you will not remove. Other plants.
Okay, but microgreens which are there inside needs to be removed.
Yes, that has to be removed. You have harvested it, you have cut the microgreens, the leafy part, and used it for consumption. The roots inside you will remove, and then you will plant the new leguminous seeds.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
So that leguminous seeds will fertilize the soil. Then again for thrice you can use it. And
All
this
right, thank
earlier
you.
part, will you be providing notes? Yes, I'll be providing notes. Notes will. And if, I'll see if I can share this PPT also with you. Let's see what can be. And yes, someone wants a video. I'll make a separate video and post it on WhatsApp. I hope you all are there on the WhatsApp group. So I'll post the this watering video. Make a special video of watering and misting in the word and put it on the.
Hi, Megha.
Hello.
Are you doing one more workshop on chili and
Gardening. That's balcony
lemongrass and
gardening.
tomatoes?
Yeah, maybe we are working out with Golden Eco Village. I'm not sure, but we can have personal workshops also. And tomorrow we have workshop of herbs, but that doesn't have chili and tomatoes and all things. That
Okay.
comes in the balcony gardening. It is in the pipeline, but I don't know when that will be.
Okay, so tomorrow it will be there will be a lemongrass and something like that.
Yeah,
All the herbs.
all the herbs, the
All the
basil,
herbs.
lemongrass, and yeah, basically
Okay.
CPT sort of thing.
Okay, so you will demonstrate how to grow that herbs and all that, just like today.
Yeah, just like today, demonstration exactly is not possible. It's more of PPT and that thing. So
Okay.
the herbs are generally by vegetative propagation. This is not
Okay.
we need to root it and then we need to plant it. So I'll show whatever is possible, but demo will be less and more of PPT just like today.
Okay.
Anyone else? I think it's time. So hope you all enjoyed the session.
Thank you.
And
Yep, thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll meet again tomorrow. And
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you. You all can leave the chat, leave the meeting.